Hey Cam, guess what?
What's up, man?
The boys are back, baby.
That didn't work. For
The
all our
boys are
YouTube
back.
listeners out there, that did not work at all. All right, Bulls. We are back. Ward's logo is again fading into the background. Today's May 31st, 2023. We're back with episode 8 of the Fat Cats podcast. Before we get into it, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Just type in the Fat Cats podcast. That's KATZ. And you can find us at Instagram and TikTok at Fat Cats Pod. Again, that's KATZ. Ward, tell me about your weekend, brother.
Cam, first off, man, let's do this. So it's episode 8 where we're at a huge milestone today. And I have an idea. We're going to talk about this online. I want to run it by you. Let's start naming our podcast at the beginning. So episode 8, I'll go ahead and name this one. We're going to call this the Kenny Pickett Pod. And the reason why is because he wears number 8 and he's in Pittsburgh. So episode 8, Kenny Pickett Pod. Here we are, Pickett Town. But no, dude, incredible weekend. Took my old lady on a cruise. Went down to Mexico, had a good time, drank some margaritas, and ate some tacos. Had a hell of a Memorial Day, and God bless our troops too. Wanted to throw that in there. The real reason for the weekend was for our troops, and not for me to go to Mexico. Cam, what about you, man? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was good, man. I see you didn't leave. I see you just packed up shop and moved out there. But
Yeah, if anybody sees, I'm still in kind of in the background of Mexico. We're gonna pretend I'm still there. Paradise.
yeah, like you said, I want to give a shout out to all the troops, man. I know I have a lot of family members
Yep.
that served and currently serve, so I want to give a huge shout out to them. Uh, they're the true heroes. They're the guys that we should be, doing a podcast about, talking about every week. But
Yep.
I
Yep.
just want to give a huge shout out to them. And my weekend was good, man. I was up in West Virginia, West by God.
Okay.
Saw the grandparents. Not always where you want to spend your Memorial Day weekend. I'm sure I could have had a lot more fun here, but it's always nice to get to see the family. Um, but yeah, I had a good weekend. Didn't get any golf played, thank God for every golf course in America. Smoked a lot of cigars. Ward, I want to talk to you about this because I've become, since we graduated, a huge cigar guy. About 5 days a week, I'm smoking a cigar, and I know
Okay.
it's good for my health, but I feel like a mob boss when I do it, just sitting
Okay.
out smoking a cigar. But so if anybody wants to get on that wave, man, we might get some more cigar talk here during the summertime when we do sports. But today's show, we got some NFL, just a little bit of college football stuff, a lot of NBA per usual at this time. Couple college basketball points to talk about. The Ultimate Fighter started last night. The Canes got knocked out of the playoffs, and we've got some more stuff. Our two segments, pet peeve of the week and full plate empty stomach at the end. So just starting out, Ward, the biggest story in the NFL right now is D Hop got released from the Arizona Cardinals, and just kind of where do you think he'll land, and what do you think the impact on the Cardinals will be?
Yeah, I want to say to Cam, shout out to your grandparents. Glad you got to go up there and see them in old West Virginia. And I want to add on one thing too. I know you mentioned that since college you've gotten big, or since we graduated you've gotten big on the cigars. Well, I will say since we've graduated and we started working and making a little bit of money here and there, I've gotten big into the whiskey. And I know from being from Kentucky, you'll appreciate that. But I wouldn't call myself a whiskey connoisseur yet, but I love some bullet whiskey, or not some bourbon whiskey. Bullet's my favorite too. That's a bourbon, but that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, Cam, just wanted to throw that in there. But going on D Hop, man, wow. I kind of saw it coming, kind of did it. I know he's been in the. I'm curious if it's D Hop or if it's the organizations he's with, because he's 0 for 2 with organizations now. He's butted heads with both leadership, and I know both teams don't have the best leadership and best GMs and all that, but honestly have no idea. I think D Hop is at an age now, and I think he'll go to a team that is successful rather than a team that's going to pay the most. I think D Hop wants to win. He's never won. He's never been there before. So to answer your question very longly, I think that the Buffalo Bills have a very high chance of getting him. And I think where he lines up best is Kansas City. I think Kansas City has another very high chance of getting him. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment that he's had trouble, with front offices in the past, especially with the Texans. I don't know whose decision this was. It seemed like it was kind of a
I think
faulty
it was,
point.
yeah, I think it was mutual.
I agree. They brought a new coach in. It didn't seem to really mesh, even though every time they got a chance to talk about DeAndre Hopkins, they talked about how they wanted him to keep him
Yeah.
around. It finally comes to fruition. This is what he's wanted all offseason, it seemed. I would look out for the Bills. He's made it very clear he'd like to play with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I'd also look out, as much as I hate to say it, for the Ravens.
Really?
Him and OBJ in
Are they
Baltimore
boys?
would be two nice weapons for Lamar. But to me, he's battled
Yeah,
injuries the past few seasons.
he has.
Getting to that age where you don't want to have an injured receiver right now, and he's not a speedster. He's lost a little bit of the ability to go get jump balls. So now I'm not saying that he's not a great receiver because he is, but he's starting to, you can see the decline coming, I feel
Yeah.
like. So I don't think it's as huge of a deal, but it takes another playmaker away from Kyler Murray, and we know he's already struggling when it comes to playmakers in Arizona.
Yeah. So Washington plays them week 1 too. I'm glad he left. Our DBs can't deal with him.
I know this was something you wanted to talk about, Ward. It's not really something I've touched on just because I don't really keep up with it as much as you. But
Yeah.
Washington players skipping OTAs. What do you have on that?
Yeah, I mean, 3 that really jumped out to me that skipped OTAs. Obviously, every year our front office is still not in order yet. Our owner's still not in order, but every year we have a lot of guys that skip OTAs. But this year we had a lot of notable guys that came for OTAs, and a few of the guys that did not come. Chase Young was absent. Which that one really pisses me off a little bit. This year's his contract year. We declined his 5th-year option, and he's going to have to play well to get paid. And he had a great rookie season. And then ever since then, man, he's battled with injuries, and he really hasn't been a great impact on the field. Stats wise, he hasn't been a great impact. If you actually watch him in the game, he makes an impact. The stats wise, he hasn't. But I don't know. I just think that's kind of a bad look. Another 2 people we had, Charles Leno. He's our starting left tackle and right guard. He switches back and forth. He's also on a contract year. He didn't show up, so not sure what we're going to do with that. And then another one that's on a contract year, but we actually picked up his 5th-year option, Montez Sweat, another first-round pick, SEC boy from Mississippi State. He didn't show up either. So, yeah, I know I follow this team pretty hard. And the Chase Young one's really what got to me. And, the media is all hyping that up. But I don't know. It is what it is. We're still a long, long ways away from football.
Just to throw a little bit of salt in the wind, I just looked. Every Steelers starter made it to OTAs, with the only one being late was TJ Watt. Missed the first day, and he's been there ever since. So
TJ Watt can get away with it.
you talk about the culture, man. The Steelers have the culture there in place. And going back to the Commanders, I saw a report today that they're planning on releasing former All-Pro guard Andrew Norwell.
Yeah, he's another one, man. He's battled with injuries. We're paying him, I think, $18 million a year or something like that. He's old. He was with Ron in Carolina during those Super Bowl stints, so he's good. It's just it's time to move on. Not mad about this one.
Well, was the plan for him to be the Brandon Sheriff replacement?
Yes, that's what he came in originally for. He came in last year and played good. He was battling injuries all year. He'd play 2 weeks, out 3 weeks. Play 1 week, out 2 weeks. I think he played 10 games last year, which isn't bad, but he didn't bring the same success that we thought he was going to.
Okay, well, you see the name,
but yeah, he is the Brandon Sheriff replacement. He didn't obviously live up to that hype, but
gotcha. I don't watch the Commanders a lot. I mean, I watch them when you watch them, like when we're together or whatever. But when you see Andrew Norwell, you think, man, like he's good.
Yeah.
But I know he's been getting hurt the past few years. I just didn't know what kind of impact that left with you as a fan.
Yeah.
Some other NFL news moving off of that is Big John Gruden's getting his coaching return.
I saw that. So what did they hire him for?
So he's an offensive analyst. He's helping install the offense, and he's a special assistant to the quarterback coach.
Okay.
So working very closely with Derek Carr, obviously. They started installing the offense last week at OTAs. Everything's kind of smoothed over. I think a lot of people have forgotten kind of what happened. Shout out to John Gruden, man.
Yeah, shout out to John Gruden. Cam, do you think that was more Derek Carr, or do you think that was more Sean Payton that wanted to bring him in? Or do you think a mix of both?
Well, Sean Payton's not with the Saints anymore.
Oh, God. I screwed that one up. Bad. Never mind.
You're good. First I think it's a first year head coach in New Orleans.
Or
I'd
not,
say,
what's their head coach's name? I forgot it. You know who I'm talking about.
yeah. I think I would say it's more of a Derek Carr decision just because he's coming over from the Raiders. I'm sure he'd like to see a familiar face in New Orleans
Yeah.
when he gets there. Um, keep an eye out though. As much as Derek Carr gets hurt, keep an eye out for our boy Jabo Winston, friend of the program, future Hall of Famer Jameis
Hey,
Winston.
crab leg legend right there.
He he had a quote today that said that he's coming for the starting spot regardless of what Derek. I just wanted to throw that nugget in there. Do I believe Jameis Winston's going to win that starting job? Absolutely not. That's enough New Orleans talk. We're
Yeah,
going to run through the NFL real quick. Last thing on the NFL is Calvin Ridley return after the gambling scandal.
that's awesome.
All reports are saying he looks good in
Yeah.
Jacksonville. He's starting to get his feet. Jacksonville's sneaky
Jacksonville's scary,
team.
man. And they're scary. And I think there's a chance their record's going to be very good this year. Their division sucks. The Colts suck. Texans suck. And who I'm missing one? Titans suck. Oh, no, not. Yeah, Colts, Texans, Titans. Yeah, I mixed the Texans, Titans up for a minute. But yeah, they all suck pretty much. And yeah, Trevor Lawrence is good. I think they have a chance to be really good.
Yep, I agree with you. They kept that core together. They got a few more years with your boy Trevor Lawrence. ETN came on at the end of the year last year.
Yeah.
Ridley added. I mean, all those receivers. As much as I ridiculed them for paying all those guys, they actually ended up playing pretty well last year.
Who else do they have? I know they have Calvin Ridley. What's the dude they overpaid from Arizona?
Yeah, it's I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's somebody's listening right now and they're losing their mind at how we're not knowing this guy and we have a sports podcast. I'm about to pull it up. They also have Evan Ingram.
They do have Evan
David
Ingram.
Jones, and I'm about to pull up this receiver real quick because it's bothering me now. Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk, that's it. Yeah.
But they have Josh Allen on the defensive side. I mean, they've got a stout team. They finally got the coach in the door that you kind of trust.
Yeah.
So that's all we have on the NFL. I don't know if you have anything that just kind of off the top of your head that you want to add.
No, I think NFL, we hit the nail on the head.
So the biggest thing in college football today, and Ward, I want to get your opinion on this, is the SEC is meeting this week to decide whether they'll play 8 or 9 games in conference when Texas and Oklahoma come over, with Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina, and Alabama being at the head of the group that wants to stay at 8 games in conference. Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, and Texas are spearheading the group that want a 9-game conference schedule. If it's an 8-game, each team will have one rival every year that they play, and then they will rotate the rest of the SEC. If we go to 9 games, we'll go to a pod scheduling in which there will be 4 teams in a pod, and then every other game will rotate. Selfishly, as a Kentucky fan, I want 8 just because it gives us an extra win. RAD's even talked about if we go to 9 games in the SEC, the Louisville game will be cut out.
And no, they can't do that.
I think that would be a horrible look. You would look scared to play Louisville, and I just can't stand that, especially after we've just throttled them the past 8 years. But Ward, as a non-SEC guy, what do you think when you hear this?
I am not a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I like the 8-game. I'm not a big believer in change. And 1, 2, look at all the rivalries within the SEC. You just mentioned one, Louisville, Kentucky. That's going to get cut out. Clemson, South Carolina. South Carolina is on the come up. Clemson's on the come down. That's a great rivalry. That is a possibility it's going to be cut out. Georgia, Georgia Tech. That's not a huge rivalry, but that could get possibly cut out. Florida, Florida State. That's another big one. That's a huge rivalry. So I don't know. I think honestly the SEC is already stacked enough, and I think there's already so many primetime games. I'm not sure who is benefiting from this financially, but I don't know. I'm personally a fan of the 8. I like rivalries. I like cross conference play. So I like the 8-game scheme.
I think the idea behind the 9-game is you go to 9 games and ESPN pays you more money.
Oh yeah, it's all money involved. Yeah.
But I think the money you gain there, you lose, like you said, in the cross conference rivalry games. It's not something I like personally. If it happens, I'm still going to watch the SEC.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
that
yeah, absolutely. Me too.
bad.
But and also too, you think about like college football playoff projection wise, that's another very hard game for an Alabama, a Georgia, I'm not gonna say Texas A&M, but Tennessee. That's another. Say they're one win or one loss back, and then they have to go play another powerhouse just like that. It's just that's unnecessary.
Well, when you say it, like you add another game, like everybody's like, "Oh, that's just another game." But when you add another game, that means half the league adds another loss to their record.
Yeah,
So you're literally half the
all
league is,
projected bad. Yeah,
yep. And I mean, imagine if Alabama or Georgia are on their way to being the 1 seed in the college football playoff, and you added an extra SEC game, and they lose that game.
yeah, they're done.
You look like idiots
Yeah,
at that point. But one more thing in the SEC, and then we're going to move on to basketball. This shouldn't bother me, but it's because of who said it bothered me. Eliah Drinkwitz, aka Dorkwitz, the head coach of Missouri. This is a quote from him this weekend, Ward. He says, quote unquote, we're giving guys 18 to 22-year-olds life-changing money. People are making more money on NIL than, say, my brother-in-law, who's a pediatrician. He saves lives. That's the guy that needs to get paid. Let's unpack this real quick, all right? A man who makes $6.5 million a year to coach football and not coach it good. He's 17-19 at Missouri. He's 0-2 in bowl games, and he's talking about these kids making money. How do these coaches sit on these high horses making insane amount of money to be a terrible? He's not a good coach, and he's talking like this. These kids should be able to make money first and foremost, but for you to be a guy who's not even 500 as a head coach to be talking about these guys shouldn't be making life-changing money is ridiculous. I can't stand it. If Saban says it, okay, maybe I get it. Elijah Dorkwitz, who hasn't won anything substantial at Missouri or Appalachian State or NC State, is talking like he's the big dog. I don't get it, man. It bothers me because this guy, why are we interviewing this guy right now? Who in Columbia, Missouri wants to hear this guy talk? This guy needs to win football games before he starts talking about kids making money.
that's hilarious. Yeah, State doesn't claim that guy. Very well said, Cam. Love it. Love it.
I'm sorry to all our Columbia, Missouri folks out
You know any
there.
Missouri fans?
No, not one.
Yeah, I know one, but no, me neither.
But Elijah Drinkwitz, if you want to hire me as OC or anything like that, just kind of ignore what I just said about that.
Yeah, Elijah, we'd love to have you on the pod, man.
Friend of the program.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NBA, obviously the biggest story. After taking a 3-0 lead in the series, the Miami Heat go to Game 7 after losing 3 in a row and take Game 7 in Boston with a 103-84 victory. Jimmy Butler had 28 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. But the story of this game is Caleb Martin with 26 and 10, being a superhero. The Nevada Wolfpack.
Yeah, the NC State Wolfpack.
But Ward, just tell me what you thought about this game. It was never really close. Tatum got an ankle injury in the first 20 so seconds, and it was never really a ball game after that point.
I couldn't believe it, honestly. I thought after Game 6, I was sitting on that boat watching Game 6, and after that tip in, I said, yeah, Miami's done. History's about to be made. But can't believe it, man. I can't believe Miami won. I can't believe they let them win 3 games in a row. I guess Jimmy Butler wanted to make it interesting, but hell of a game. Hell of a series. I take that back. The game, it was kind of, I don't know if you watch, it's kind of boring. I don't know. But I get that what's his name got hurt very early. But even Jaylen Brown, man, Jaylen Brown didn't look that good. Al Horford didn't look good. Marcus Smart didn't look good. I don't know if they got nervous. They were in front of their home fans too. I don't know what they kind of came out and laid an egg. And I saw a really interesting stat that I wanted to talk to you about. So the Celtics head coach and Jimmy Butler played against each other in the NCAA tournament in college. I didn't realize how young that dude was. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I don't know if it's player problem, coaching problem. What do you think for Boston?
Well, first of all, I want to say shout out to Derek White, man. Game 6 with the
Yeah, that
ticket,
was huge.
the
That was
biggest
huge.
moment in the series. I think when you talk about Game 7, like I feel like Game 6 was almost their Game 7. Like I
It
think
was.
they won the series. They in their heads they'd won the series at that point. And obviously Tatum gets hurt. That changes the whole
Yeah,
game
that
plan.
changes.
You can't have Jaylen Brown go and get 19 on terrible efficiency in the Game 7.
Yeah.
That's not the way you get paid. You talk about Boston. First, to your point, Joe Mazzulla, West Virginia Mountaineer. I know Gigi is listening. She'll appreciate the West
Shout
Virginia.
out Gigi.
But yeah, man, I feel like coaching's probably the biggest problem in Boston. Like, I know we talked about it last episode. I think it'd be crazy to get rid of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, obviously.
You can't pay both of them though.
But you can. Like, it's
They're
been
both
done.
up for supermax contracts.
And every team, I mean,
Who are I mean, I guess they're not paying anybody right now. Are they paying Marcus Smart? He's
no,
old.
Marcus Smart's probably making $8 million a year. Like, they can build a good roster around those two, giving supermax contracts. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
You don't think that's a problem.
So you think they can't? Yeah, I guess they can't afford it. They're not paying anybody else.
So I think they need some retooling. I think the GM needs to do some work, get some guys.
What do they have to do to get over the hump? In your opinion?
Stay healthy, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, both playoff runs, somebody's gotten hurt. I feel like they need a playmaker. And as much as I like Marcus Smart, he acts like he's the star of that team, which drives me nuts. Like, if you watch, he's taking more contested shots.
Oh yeah.
Jaylen Brown and Jason
Yeah,
Tatum.
he took the game winner in Game 6. Why's that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know who he thinks I mean, he's a good basketball player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know who he thinks
Number
he is.
3.
He's the third fiddle on that team, and he acts like he's the alpha. Kind of reminds me of our house at the Highlands Ward.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think they need to get some, like, I think if you switch around the role players, a lot can happen. I think you need to put more shooters around Tatum and Brown. I think that you need to have a better playmaker at point guard as opposed to like a defensive specialist that takes bad shots. He's like a rich man's Dylan Brooks, if you think about it. Marcus
Oh yeah.
Smart. But that's to me, it's coaching mostly. I mean, Mazzulla in games 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6 was great, but in 1, 2, 3, and 7, he was really bad and didn't make adjustments. So, but you get in the weird spot of this is your 4th coach in 5 years.
Yep.
So that's kind of. I mean, I'm not going to fix the Boston Celtics on this episode because I have no clue exactly what you do to help the Boston Celtics. It's clear that something needs to happen to get back over the hump.
Yep.
Very well said. Since we left, the Denver Nuggets swept the Los Angeles Lakers. Not really a lot to talk about there. Just an absolute masterclass of a series by Jokic and our boy, also friend of the program, Jamal Murray. Just real quick, what's your finals preview? Like, what would you say people should look out for? What's the key to victory for either side? What do you think?
Bam Adebayo cannot stop Jokic. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. I'm personally not betting on this series at all. I'm not wagering any money around simply because the Heat have proved me wrong in 2 different series now. After losing a play-in game, going to the championship, I mean, you got me. Hats off to you. But yeah, I mean, the way Jokic played against the Lakers and the shots the fadeaway threes he was making as the time extend. I mean, you just don't see that. That's not natural. And I don't know who on Miami is going to be able to beat or who's going to be able to stop him. But Cam, I do want to run something by you. I saw a statistic the other day. So the last time any Colorado team has been in, or I'm sorry, not the last time they've been in, but the last time any Colorado team had a sweep in the Western Conference Finals and then went into the championship was the 2007 Colorado Rockies. They had a 9-day break. The Denver Nuggets have a 9-day break after they had a sweep in the conference finals, came into the championship round, then they got beat. So, not saying history repeats itself, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a
Hey, 9 days is a long time to take a break.
it is,
Yeah.
and sometimes it helps people and sometimes it hurts people. I don't really know for this Nuggets team what it would be. I feel like
I
the
have
most
no idea what to expect, man. I have no clue.
if I had a Nuggets sweep and not a game was close, it wouldn't surprise me. If we had a 7-game series and the Heat won, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
The only thing that would surprise me if the Heat swept them, honestly.
That would surprise. What's your honest opinion? What do you think it's going to go, and how many games, and who takes it?
I would say Nuggets in 6. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously you're going to get your Jimmy Butler master classes here and there, and like you said, the key to me is Bam Adebayo.
Yep.
Is Bam going to be a 12, 9, and 6 guy, or is he going to be a 25, 12, and 6 guy?
Yep.
He's not going to be able to guard Jokic. We know that. Anthony Davis couldn't guard Jokic. There's not a soul that can guard Jokic yet. Um, and as much as I love, like, Bam, like, you got to step up. Like, you got to be a
Yep.
true number 2 this series if you want a chance to win. But there is an X factor in Miami that we're talking about. I don't know if it's going to come to fruition, but
Love that guy.
there's talks about a Tyler Hero return in the finals here. Now that could be something that I mean, you get a
That could be
spark plug,
interesting.
yeah. I mean, you get a spark plug off the bench. You get a guy that you can rely on to for Jimmy Butler to actually take a break and somebody who can carry the offense. Now he's been out since the first round.
Hmm.
His shooting hand was messed up, so I don't know if for sure he's going to return, but I've heard about it. People are talking about it, and that could be a thing that shifts the series, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, Tyler Hero has been hanging out with Jack Harlow a lot, so we'll see if he's good now. But
Watch that movie? Did you
no,
watch
I haven't
We
seen it
Can't
yet.
Jump? Great
I haven't
movie.
seen it. I heard it's good.
It's a really good
I
movie.
saw one.
Obviously,
I saw one scene of Tyler Hero cussing out one of his teammates.
yeah, it was a good movie. Obviously, remakes are kind of hit or miss, but I actually enjoyed it.
Have you seen that Nike movie yet?
I haven't watched it yet. No,
Now that's what you need to see. That movie's great. 10 out of 10.
I love it. I'll have to check it out. It's been on the queue. Mom wants to watch it with
You
me,
need
so
to you need rent it on Amazon. I think it's like $5. You need to get
okay, I'll definitely check that out, and we'll talk about it when summer radio comes across and we don't have anything else to talk about. But
it.
moving on real quick, the 76ers, huge hire with Nick Nurse, former NBA champion with the Toronto Raptors. If there's anybody that can get it done in Philly, it's that guy.
Yep. I'm curious to see. I know his obviously he was in Toronto for 4 years. He won a championship. His first 2 years were really good. He lost Kawhi and he lost Kyle Lowry, and the second 2 years went downhill. But it's funny, man. They got rid of the doc and they brought in the nurse. So we'll see how it goes. But no, I'm curious to see how he does, man. I'm excited. Good hire for them.
One thing about that hire is I think you're going to see a lot less ISO ball with Joel Embiid. If you watch the Raptors at all, there's
Yeah.
a lot of motion in the offense, even when they had Kawhi. Now, obviously, when it comes down to the last 2 minutes, like it's going to be the Joel Embiid show. But throughout the game, I think you're going to see a lot less Joel Embiid, just high post ISOs, elbow ISOs, which I think in the long run will help him, just because he won't be, out of shape and tired and injured when the playoffs come around. Um, to me, this is the 76ers' last ditch effort for the process. I think if this doesn't work out, I mean, it's time to ship out people and start to rebuild again, I guess. But this kind of begs the question: where do you think Doc Rivers ends up?
I think it's a matter of time. Any day now, he will be in Phoenix. And what is Arizona? It's not the Sunshine State. No, that's Cal or that's Florida. Well, anyway, he's going to be in the desert Phoenix coaching the Suns. Is what I think. What
Yeah,
you think?
I like that. I've heard Orlando, which is where you got to start.
No, really, I haven't seen that.
Um, but I mean, Doc Rivers, as much as we give him, shit, he's a great coach, and he's going to get a job. As long as he wants to coach, he'll have a job. So I wish nothing but the best for him. But I will always stand on the ground that nobody has milked a championship more than that 08, 09
Yeah,
Celtics team. But just
yeah.
one more thing on the NBA, and this is actually really big news to me, is the Warriors GM Bob Myers stepped down yesterday. Um, I, he probably doesn't want to give Draymond the bad news. He's scared he might get punched in his face. But yeah, Bob Myers, longtime Golden State GM. He's been the GM through all the golden years here. He basically built this team. He steps down. They don't have anybody immediately ready to hire, which is all kind of concerning a little bit. But because I mean everybody's known this. They've known this since the beginning of the season. But it's feels like maybe this might be the end for the.
Yeah, I know during our last podcast we had to talk about, is this the end of the Warriors dynasty? And I said I wasn't sure, and then now the GM steps down, which is huge. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it really shocked me, but I'm not sure what's going to come out of it.
And then just some quick college basketball. Caleb Love, after committing to Michigan, leaving North Carolina, has re-entered the transfer portal and committed to Arizona.
Caleb Love he's now with his third team in the last 2 months.
Yeah,
Nice job. Chapel Hill taught you well, buddy.
How embarrassing is it for Chapel Hill to have a player transfer from Chapel Hill and not be academically eligible to transfer to Michigan?
Hey, that Julius Peppers, man. Julius Peppers majored in Chinese art language. I mean, he couldn't even say his ABCs. Chapel Hill, don't tell your sister about this. Maybe it's different for the regular students, but the athletes, man, they don't teach them jack squat. And I guess Chinese finger painting doesn't transfer to the University of Michigan. But I guess Arizona, it might transfer, so we'll see.
Well, Caleb Love is an underwater basket weaving major.
So. Oh, underwater basket weaving. Oh, sorry, mixed that one up.
Yep. If basketball doesn't work out, I'll make sure to go to any flea markets or anything. Caleb Love. And then one last thing. Speaking of UNC, 5-star combo guard Elliot Cadeau is reclassing into this upcoming class, so he will be on campus at UNC for this upcoming season. It doesn't really push the needle for me, but the more talent you can get on campus, the better. I'm not really familiar with this game. Obviously, if you're a 5-star combo guard, you're a good basketball player. So UNC loading up. I don't know. I don't think they're really going to be that good this year. They lost Caleb Martin, added Elliot Cadeau, and the rest of the team is basically the same. So we'll see with that. That's all for basketball. Moving on to one of our favorite shows maybe ever is The Ultimate Fighter started back
last baby. Tough.
Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. I didn't have time to watch it, Ward. I'm not going to lie. I've got it TiVo'd. I've got it ready to watch once we get off here, once I get off work. I'm more so excited just of the absolute shit talk that's going to happen between these two. We've already seen snippets.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Chandler told him, we'll fight it whatever way you want to. And Conor McGregor said, you'll do as you're told. So, I mean, these two are, they're bound to get in a fight or a scrap during this because, you got two alphas just in the room together. But I'm really excited for this season and even more excited for the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be – I'm not going to lie, Cam, haven't watched it either. But, yeah, it's good – or I didn't watch it. I'm watching it tonight. It came on at 10:30 last night. It's a little past my bedtime. But, yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited for this fight, to be honest with you. I know it's a little early to predict this, but Michael Chandler, I think, starches him pretty quick. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting series. For our listeners, we'll give you some updates.
And real quick, I know you have some other sports topics that you wanted to touch on real quick, so I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kind of kick it off. The Carolina Hurricanes, it's our hometown team. They're done. They got swept 4-0 to the Florida Panthers. So now we're cheering for the Panthers to go hop in and take the NHL by storm. And then another thing I wanted to touch on, so there's a lot of controversy going on in the MLB right now. And anyway, the MLB commissioner, Robert Manfred, is for the month of June, which is Gay Pride Month, they're trying to do a patch that all these NFL or that all the MLB players have to wear on their jerseys. And there's a lot of controversy behind that simply because, a lot of players don't agree with it, what this and that and whatnot. And I think it's a little ridiculous on the MLB side. I'm not going to hop too much into it. I think, if you don't push religion on players, I don't think it's right to try to push the gay agenda on players. And two, looking at the MLB, a lot of these guys are foreign. A lot of these guys aren't American. These countries that they have are very Christian countries, and they don't put up with the gay agenda. So, then that can be wrong for them to wear something like that and their family's sake. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of wrong on the MLB side, but yeah, kind of Oh yeah, one more shout out. Wanted to shout out NC State Wolfpack baseball. We're going to the regional. That's a 3 seed in Columbia to go take on Cam's favorite team, the Cox. So we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting. Go Wolfpack.
Yeah, I'll be in Columbia more than likely for that. As a Kentucky fan, I do like to cheer for my Cox here in the baseball season. And just to touch on what you said with the MLB real quick, I think that it should be voluntary either way. If a player believes in it, they should be able to wear the patch with the utmost pride. If a player doesn't believe in it, I don't think that they should be
Yeah.
forced to wear something that they don't believe in. I think that's just kind of basic what people should think. But
Yeah.
moving off of that, what will be done will be done. We do have pet peeve of the week, which is obviously my best friend Ward's segment that he came up with. Before we get into this, I want to give a huge shout out to my man Ward. Man, he is a gamer when it comes to this stuff, man. He's always talking about the pod. He's always pushing the pod to his friends, to people he probably doesn't even know, somebody he probably just saw in Walmart. He's pushing the pod.
Yeah, right.
He's coming up with great ideas, man. I just want to, I know I tell you privately, but I want to make sure that I tell everybody publicly, dude, you guys got a good co-host with Ward Sewell because he loves this shit, man.
Cam, I appreciate it, man. Hey, to all our listeners out there, I am a salesman. I'm in IT staffing and services sales, and I'm also in Fat Cats Pod sales. Our T-shirts aren't there yet, but aren't here yet. But I went on a boat. I was telling people on the boat from all around the country, telling them about the Fat Cats Pod, telling them to check it out. But yeah, Cam, I guess I'll go ahead and hop into my pet peeve of the week, kind of going off what you just said. Going off what I just said. I'm sorry. So the boat I was just on, that big cruise ship, and my pet peeve of the week is lazy people that get on the elevator to go down one flight of stairs. I was on the very bottom floor. Everything was up here on this boat. So I had to go up the elevator for everything. And then coming down, these people, somebody will come on floor 9, go down to floor 8. Like, get your lazy ass and take the stairs. I get if you're in a wheelchair. I get if you just got a knee surgery. You have a torn ACL, you got a messed up ankle. But, man, that's why we're fat, because people don't take the damn stairs. But yeah, that's my pet peeve of the week.
Yeah, Ward, I probably need to take your advice on that on the stair situation. My pet peeve of the week is swimmer's ear. Now, if you've never gotten this, let me tell you about one of the most aggravating things that can happen to a person. We get the swimming pool opened up last week. I'm super excited, man. I swim every day. Wake up, and there's just water stuck in my ear. I can't get it out. My ear's swollen. I can't get it out. Yeah, it's impossible. And I've got a headache the whole day. Swimmer's ear is top 10 most annoying things that can happen to a person, especially the first week of the pool being open. I looked like such a nerd. I had to go to the dollar store and get like these earplugs.
Orange things,
yeah, so I can swim. I look like a little kid. I might as well put my floaties on when I get in the pool. But yeah, that's my pet peeve of the week. And then real quick, we'll move on to full plate, empty stomach. Ward, I'll let you go first because I know you got a big shout out from your former Wolf Pack here.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out the former Wolf Pack. I'm actually shouting out 2 schools here, North Carolina State and Nevada. But shout out to the former Wolf Pack player, Caleb Martin. He's on his payday year, and that man, as my friend Parker Wooten says, that I always say a lot on this podcast, that boy's about to get paid. And yeah, he showed out. I think he should have been the MVP in the Eastern Conference Finals. He had the most consistent play. But, you got to give it to Jimmy Butler. He's your star player. But, yeah, shout out to Caleb Martin for a hell of a performance in the Eastern Conference Finals. And my empty stomach of the week, I actually have 2 of them. I mentioned it earlier, the MLB commissioner, Robert Manfred, for all the LGBTQ gay pride stuff the agenda he's trying to push. That's my empty stomach of the week. And my other empty stomach of the week is going to be Al Horford, the center/power forward for the Celtics. Al, my man, I know you make a lot more money than me, and you can start a podcast up and probably have a little more views than we do. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, stop shooting 23s a game. You're a big man. Stay down low. If you shoot 30% from the field, then stop shooting damn threes. Let the three-point shooters shoot. So, yeah, Cam, that's my full plate empty stomach of the week. How about you, my friend?
All right, so I've got 2 full plates. I'm going to start out with somebody that you just mentioned as my man, Big Parker Wooten, Wu-Tang. My man sends me a screenshot every time he listens to the pod, man. He always talks to me about the pod. And we're about to find out if he actually listens to the pod or not, because I'm giving a huge shout out to my man Parker Wooten. And then Lexington, Kentucky is my other full plate. We've got Railbird in Lexington. We're hosting a college baseball regional. We've got the state playoffs for baseball. And my man Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, is in Lexington showing out. No hotels. Listen to this story. This is hilarious. So there's no hotels in Lexington because of Railbird. There's 40,000 people attending this concert. The baseball players for the regional, Indiana, West Virginia, and Ball State baseball players, don't have hotels to stay in.
What?
So the University of Kentucky is renting out their dorms to the baseball.
You have got to be freaking kidding me. The dorms?
There's no hotels in Lexington, Louisville, anywhere.
Wait, what concert's coming? Railbird?
Railbird. It's a country concert. It's like Tyler Childers. Zach
okay. It's one. Okay, I'd never heard of Railbird, but that makes sense. Okay.
Yes, it's a huge concert.
Crap, dude, that's awesome.
So that's my other full plate. Lexington, Kentucky is going to be a ball this weekend if you can make it out there.
A lot of whiskey will be drank this weekend in Kentucky.
Bourbon will be flowing. The horses will be running too, so keep an eye out for that. And then my empty stomach, we already touched on it. We kind of already know the jazz of it, is Joe Mazzulla probably getting the can. He's become the scapegoat of this underwhelming Celtics team. So that's my empty stomach for the week. Ward, if you don't have anything else, we'll go ahead and kind of.
Yeah, I got one shout out I want to throw in there. I forgot to throw this in, but I want to shout out the Wake Forest high school baseball team. Not sure if any of y'all listen or not, but the boys are actually playing in the state championship this weekend. And I believe they're playing TC Robertson out of Asheville. So, boys, I am a former baseball alum from Wake Forest High School. We sucked when I was there. But, boys, go kick some ass and take some names and show those mountain boys how us Piedmont boys play some baseball.
Shout out to the real Wake Forest.
The real Wake Forest, not Winston-Salem Demon Deacons, scrubs.
So we hope you guys enjoyed the show. Obviously, we appreciate each and every one of you, as few as it may be, as many as it may be. Just a quick update. I know on the Instagram front, I have an update. We're almost up to 90 followers. We're trying to get to 100 followers by the end of the week. If we get to 100, we've got a special gift.
Oh, yeah.
Surprise for one of our 100 followers on that. So push the pod, do what my man Wade goes, get a sign, flip it on the side of the road, do whatever you got to do. Again, you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on YouTube. We're still trying to figure out this beast of Apple Podcast. If anybody has any ideas, send us a note or something. But you can find us on Instagram and also TikTok at Fat Cats Pod. That's KATZ. Ward, tell me what you got to say before we get out of here.
I will say, too, for our 100th follower on Instagram, whoever you are out there, we haven't met you yet, or we probably have met you yet, but you haven't followed the page yet. Whoever is our 100th follower and they send me a screenshot confirmation, I have a personal gift ready for you. So, and I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. Cam, I'll tell him off air. But, yeah, thank y'all for listening. We work around the clock. Like I said, I'm in the beach right now, aka at work with my background, and Cam is working hard right now. We work around the clock. So thank you for all the support. Thank you for checking us out. And if you check the Instagram out, like Cam said, if you made it this far, I owe you 2 beers.
Peace.
Yes, sir.